JP.
Open your car. I always lost track to my healing. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. Today we're gonna talk about the DNA upgrades, y'all superpowers, and how to actualize and materialize them into this reality. Come on, check it out. What if I could tell you could attain your superpowers right now? I'm talking about from fire bending to flight, floating through the sky like storm, you hear me? All of that. Just by going within yourself and understanding the power that lies within you. Understanding all the different facets of fractality of energy that lies within you. And bring up these energies through Jacob's ladder or your 33 vertebrae, have them die and resurrect at the pineal gland so you can actualize them in your consciousness. So the elemental sign that you're naturally born with is the element or power that you'll have a natural affinity to. And based off your experiences in your life, you'll realize what element you'll have a natural affinity to if you don't even know the zodiac sign that has your element. So when I was a child, I was always trying to burn stuff. I remember I had got this big magnifying glass and I figured out that you can channel the rays of the sun and burn stuff. I was making fires and all type of stuff. Hence to my element being fire. If you're a water sign, you'll just be naturally attracted to water. Now, just because you have a natural affinity with these signs doesn't mean that you still can't access other elements. Just because I'm a fire sign doesn't mean I still can't access the element of air because oxygen is needed for fire to be alive. It's just like in the TV show Hunter x Hunter. Let's just say I was a conjurer, right? That would mean I would be able to be a specialist and a transmuter because it's closer to conjuring. The further away the element is on the chart, the more challenging it will be to access it. Our ancient ancestors and those who came before us understood this, and they understood how to access it. That's why in all these different pantheons and ideologies, you have all these different gods and goddesses, all these different deities, all these different chaotic forces. Because in the present time that they were in, they needed to see 144 to synergize with. Let's just go back in time for a second. Imagine that we all in Africa, we're a part of the Yoruba tribe. And in this tribe, the deities, gods, and goddesses that they have, we know are called orishas, right? Now, let's just say a goddess in this tribe had a natural affinity with water. For her to understand and bring forth that energy that lies within her, that god and goddess that lies within her up, for her to be able to synergize and control water in physical reality, she would have to study, practice, be near, have wisdom of, and embody the goddess Oshun or Yemaya. And then this goddess in our tribe will be able to control all things or synergize with all things that have to do with water. So what I'm saying is this DNA activation, these upgrades that we're getting is knowledge that's coming back online within our DNA or DEA, because your DNA is just coiled up knowledge, coiled up information. And the more and more you open up that knowledge, the more and more you open up your DNA and information, the more and more of these energies, these gods and goddesses that exist within you come out and actualize and make themselves and their presence be known. This is why the journey through knowledge itself is so important, and why you just don't stick to one ideology or pantheon or way of teaching. Because our DNA literally holds the key to the knowledge and wisdom of the entirety of everything. This is why you just feel drawn and called to certain gods and goddesses. Whether it be Egyptians, Greek gods, whatever. It's all you and it all resides within you for you to understand it in your own way. Go tap in. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. Today we're going to talk about how the TV show Ben 10 was really telling you the truth about the gods and goddesses that exist within you. Come on, check it out. So I know we all watched the TV show Ben 10 when we was younger. If y'all haven't, y'all need to go check it out. It was about this boy who gained this alien technological watch that can shapeshift him into any extraterrestrial that he comes in contact with. This watch was called the Omnitrix. Omni meaning all, tricks meaning magic, or tricks or abilities. So when he had this Omnitrix, it embedded and synchronized itself with his DNA in his cells. When he put it on, he could not take it off. The only way he could get it off is if this extraterrestrial gray alien named Galvin could take it off, because he was the one who created it. But this TV show just goes to show the power that lies within you and the memory within your DNA. All these gods and goddesses, these deities, these orishas, even the Greek and Roma gods, all lie within your DNA. All their aspects, all their abilities lie within you. Now this Omnitrix that Ben 10 had on right here is in the shape of an hourglass or an infinity symbol. And then the two triangles on the outside of this infinity symbol will symbolize dark matter energy. The infinity symbol will symbolize the infinite possibilities that you can unlock within yourself and your DNA, because your DNA is in the same shape as this infinity symbol if you look at an infinity symbol from the top view, and then also by operating and accessing it out of your heart chakra, which the color green symbolizes. Now when Ben 10 Alien Force, just the Ben 10 that came out after the original Ben 10, well Ben 10 was grown up. In this show, he met his infinite self or his highest self. or his infinite self that had infinite possibilities when using his omnitrix. He unlocked his DNA to the fullest capacity, and he was able to shapeshift into shape form into any single one of these extraterrestrials without actually having to turn into them. He stayed in his biological form, his biological makeup, while still having the abilities of these extraterrestrials. And this goes to show that we could tap into this same information, this same knowledge, these same abilities by synergizing with the energies that we most assimilate with and resonate with, dealing with these deities, gods, orishas, goddesses, whatever the case may be. Here go an example of it right here in the show.
But wait, there's more! Heat blast! I'm not just gonna stand here and let you nail me with that time ray. Clockwork! That's right, I've got time.
So you see how every time he wanted to shapeshift and transform, he would hit his heart chakra. He would tap into the frequency of love. 222, he would hit his heart chakra and tap in and access these abilities that lied embedded within his DNA. And he was able to shapeshift and transform and access and use these abilities. All because he made a physical and spiritual and emotional connection with the extraterrestrials that he came in contact with, i.e. gods and goddesses, or extraterrestrial beings that exist in this reality. It's just like in the movie Lucy. In this part of the movie, she was showing that there is no such thing as time, there's no such thing as numbers, there's no such thing as pencils, pens. She was basically explaining everything as just is. And based off how much you're tapped in with your inner child and your imagination, you'll be able to morph this energy to your will or manifest it. So remember, all this power lies within you. So tap in and make the connection, I say. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. Today we're gonna talk about how to find out what your superpower is. Come on, check it out. So if y'all haven't watched my last video on your extrasensory perceptive abilities, y'all superpowers, y'all need to go check it out. I know a lot of people are still sitting there waiting on their superpowers. Oh, like when mine gonna activate, when it's gonna turn on, when I'm gonna be able to dematerialize particles into matter. Chill and stop and take a look around at yourself. Look around at what you do. Look around at what you're already good at. Look around to what you experience a lot. And like I said before in my last video, that you don't have to put too much effort into. That is the base foundation of where your superpower lies. Like I said in my last video, extrasensory perceptive abilities or superpowers may manifest in a small and minute way. It may be as simple as you having the ability to walk up straight, shoulders back, chin up, and everybody could just feel your power when you come stepping around. Could have just had the innate ability to make people laugh. I know we all just met a person who wasn't really funny, but they were just funny. If you always finding insects in your house, spiders just naturally be all around. You know, all of us experience this one. When you take your shoes off and you run in the grass, you be feeling supercharged when you run. These are all intrinsic forms of what your abilities might manifest as at first. And based on the thought forms and the dreams and aspirations that you'll have, they'll begin to formulate around those. That's why it's so intrinsic to become childlike again. Because think about it. They have us going to school and going to college and things like that to graduate and become good slave workers. To become domesticated slave workers. To punch the clock for the rest of our lives, and then our abilities will form around punching that clock. Somebody be real good at flipping burgers. Somebody mop the flow like none other. What if you take that same cosmic being, that channels source energy like none other, that has the most organic form of spiritual technology dwelling within their avatar, and then you couple that with them merging with their inner child, and then not confining them to a space, but allowing them to enter into the void and be free? What would those small, minute abilities manifest as then? That's why you have music artists whose parents was music artists or in the entertainment industry. Then the innate abilities that are aligned within them begin to manifest around that industry. Well, just imagine if a child or you that became childlike again placed yourself in an environment where you can fully activate and tap into your abilities that you already have. Some of y'all may be a real good listener. What would that transform into if you had the proper environment, being out in nature? What then would you be able to hear? How far would you be able to hear? Y'all see what I'm saying with this? We constantly got us in a savior mode, savior complex. We constantly waiting for something that is already ours. We just have to remember that. That's the whole thing. The whole thing behind this construct is that when we trying to obtain something, the problem is we're trying to obtain it. Oh, you have to really understand that it's already yours. You've already been doing it, and you already remember it. You already know what ability that you have. It's always staring you right in front of your face. Trust and believe that. So take some ether, step back, and really analyze yourself in an imaginative way. Then you'll see what you could really. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. How do you know your superpowers are activating? Come on, check it out. So we live in the omniverse, right? And in the reality that we are existing in right now, we get to watching movies and TV shows of superheroes. And when we're watching these shows, we see these heroes' powers activate. They spontaneously combust. Some of them disappear. Some of them fall from a very high place and end up levitating. And this programs us to believe that we don't already have powers that we're already accessing and using, and that we're waiting for something that we already have inside of us to fully activate. One thing y'all must understand about y'all superpowers or extrasensory perceptive abilities is that you've always been using them whether you realize it or not. And being as though we live in an omniverse, the abilities that you see on TV may not manifest in the same way that you see them on TV in this reality. Yes, superpowers are real, but in this reality, we have to start with baby steps first. The abilities that we already have that will evolve into ones that you couldn't even fathom before. Some of y'all may be experiencing it right now when y'all accidentally bump the dresser and something fall off. And you wasn't even looking in that direction, but you just automatically catch what fall. Like, some of y'all may be finishing people's sentences, knowing what they already gonna say. Some of y'all may get lost when driving sometimes and just know how to get back home. Ringing in your ears? Superpower. Seeing shadows and speckles of light out the corners of your eye. Superpower, nigga. Y'all may feel your body start to vibrate and get lighter. These are all precursors to your superpowers. Extrasensory perceptive abilities. You'll begin to notice that things that you usually do take less and less energy. Before they took a whole lot, but now it's just taking a little bit. You may start to notice animals coming up to you, insects, all type of things that never did before. You might start hearing voices, seeing auras. All of these are precursors or incubative stages of your superpower. You need to continue to be put in uncomfortable situations in order for them to stretch and grow. And like I said, they may not manifest in the way you think like you see it on the movies. It's all up to your discretion in your mind. So let's just say I'm doing telekinesis or pyrokinesis or electrokinesis or hydrokinesis. A little bit though, you dig what I'm saying? I'm moving tinfoil or getting the candle flame to dance with me. You may think the next step is picking up houses with your mind or shooting fireballs out your hand, but that may not be the case. It can manifest in an entirely different way, and it's all up to you. You know how when we was all younger, we got to say, man, if I got a chance to choose my superpower, I'd be this, I'd be that. Well, you can choose it. For my Pokemon watchers out there, you see mind activating, I'm doing a video right now, bro, on what I just seen. But for my Pokemon watchers out there, that baby stage of the superpower that you have right now, the baby stage of that extrasensory perceptive ability you have right now is equivalent to the Pokemon Eevee. Now, y'all know if y'all give Eevee a certain Pokemon stone, that's what that Eevee will evolve into. It's the same thing with you. Whatever thought form that you feed your ability is the ability that it will manifest into. Whatever energy you feed your ability is what it will manifest into. So keep that in mind and continue to activate at quantum speed. I say. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. Today we're going to talk about ESP, y'all superpowers, and how to gain more of a control over them. Come on, check it out. A lot of us, a conglomeration of us, whether you be woke or not woke, whether you eat plants or whether you eat flesh, no matter what walk of life or ideology that you come from, no matter what part of the world that you come from, a lot of people's supernatural abilities, extrasensory perception, or superpowers are activating at alarming rates. Now, for those of us who just know what's going on, that's tapped in with self, that knows their body, that knows what they're experiencing is DNA or DEA activation. You good, but still listen to this video, still listen to this download. For those who are at the doorway to stepping into their spiritual journey, that journey through the knowledge of self, even for those who aren't on the verge of this journey, y'all are still on the journey and y'all are experiencing these supernatural abilities that y'all innately have activate. When y'all start experiencing these abilities, whether it be astral projection, astral travel, all the clear senses, precognition, just knowing how to use your energy, your prana or your chi, feeling your vehicle or your avatar fully come online more and more each and every day, you start operating out of your amygdala, which deals with fight or flight response and or false evidence appearing real, which is fear. Because people fear what they do not understand or understand. And once you start experiencing these things that you haven't experienced in a long time or probably never at all, because you don't have the recollection of experiencing it when you was a child, you start to panic and think something bad is happening when it's not. You just activating, you just unlocking. There's a goddess in my soul tribe. She's so tapped in more than she really realized. As soon as she called me, she told me, I had sleep paralysis for like an hour. Instantaneously, I'm already knowing what she's talking about. Intuitively, I'm already understanding what's happening with her. She goes on to say, during the sleep paralysis, my eyes were like half open, half closed. And I couldn't move at all. And I'm kicking and I'm screaming and I'm da-da-da-da-da. Then she goes on to say, I fell back asleep and I dreamed. I remember going back to sleep and having the same dream twice. So that already put a whole new level of confirmation on what I knew what was happening to her. She had an innate gift, a natural born gift of astral projection. And an out-of-body experience. And when she was having sleep paralysis for that whole hour, she did it every single time. And the reason she couldn't remember in that point in time what she was quote-unquote dreaming about, which was actually an actual projection experience, is because she didn't have enough energy to bring back that memory back into this realm so she could remember it. Now she talking to me, she's gaining more light because light is information. And did she remember exactly what happened in the astral projection experience? She got up and she said, I walked downstairs, I felt like I was drunk and woozy, and my fiance met me in the kitchen because I was about to fall and took me back upstairs. Did she say my fiance was never home? And I gave her some more information, download, and guidance on what she was experiencing, not to be in a state of fear. She was just in a state of panic because she didn't understand what was going on and she felt as though she wasn't controlling it. Then in the first Spider-Man movie, when his Spider-Man abilities activated and he was in his room and he was shooting webs and climbing up the wall and all that, he felt like he couldn't control it. But soon as he let go and tapped into that inner child, he was able to control his abilities. I'm gonna stop right here. Go watch part 2. Peace. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. This is the part 2 to how to gain control over your extrasensory perception or your superpowers. Come on, check it out. So we left off talking about a goddess in my galactic tribe, my soul tribe, and how her innate abilities were activated and how she was experiencing astral projection. And we left off talking about in the movie Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man that ever came out with Tobey Maguire. When he got bit by the spider and he went home, then dude got up, he got the all over the room, you know what I'm saying, touching stuff, sticking on his hand. He was in a state of fight or flight because he didn't know what was going on. And this is the same thing that was happening with this goddess. The whole time I was conversing with her, she kept saying I wasn't afraid, I just didn't know what was going on. Whole time she was in a slight state of fear because her fight or flight response kicked in and that deals with fear. But I give her flowers because as we talking over the phone, I could genuinely feel her lack of fear. So she truly just didn't understand what was going on. She needed some insight, some knowledge, and some wisdom on it. So in all these superhero movies, when these superheroes first get their abilities, they activate. And then they don't know what to do. They don't know what's happening. So then they either run from their abilities or not trust in themselves. All of us who are activating right now, we should not do that. How to gain control over your abilities is to not have control. How to gain control over yourself is to not have control. And I know it sounds like a double entendre, but it's not. Because the universe, God, or whatever y'all want to conceptualize it as, it's a cosmic, supreme cosmic consciousness. And we can conceptualize as primordial waters, or the primordial waters of thought, or the primordial waters of consciousness. And in order for you to gain control over your thoughts, because that's why you're reacting in the way that you're reacting when you are experiencing these things, is to hop on the boat of consciousness and let it flow down the primordial waters of thought. So if your abilities are activating and you're experiencing supernatural things and you begin to panic or just act in a fight or flight response or act in a state of fear, 144, calm down and let whatever is happening flow through you. Because it's going to open up meridian pathways and create new neural pathways within your consciousness, within your neural network. So the next time you experience these abilities, channel or flow of energy won't be extraneous because it will be familiar and you will be able to have more control over your ability. It's like riding a bike. You get on a bike and you get to ride and you think you're about to fall off because it has 2 wheels. And the more and more you ride the bike, the more and more you're able to do. You get on a bike and you're doing BMX tricks and all this type of stuff. It's the same thing with your abilities because your abilities are like a muscle. And they need to be overextended so they can grow and evolve. Think about it. In any superhero movie when an OP character get their abilities, don't they overexert themselves the first time? Think about Super Saiyans. Think about Goku when he don't he go higher every time? Think about the TV show Black Lightning when Lightning got her abilities. And when she overexerted herself, she went even higher every time. She gained a new control or synergetic effect with her abilities. Because they got into that imaginative inner childlike mindset, tapped in and trusted self, and then simply let go and let flow so they could see what will happen. So to gain control over your abilities, get some understanding, understanding, and overstanding under it. Practice and hone in on your abilities and then simply let go. Ashe. Peace to my soul family, peace to my soul tribe. Today we're going to talk about how to use your first eye, your mind's eye, to practice and expand your ESP. Come on, check it out. So ESP is extrasensory perception or abilities that you have beyond your senses. You know how when Spider-Man get his spidey sense? ESP. You know how when you just around a group of people and you feel like you can hear their thoughts? ESP. When you're thinking about somebody and they text or call you? ESP. So how do we strengthen, nurture, and train these abilities? So the first step when I'm helping people gain the remembrance of how to do something is to retrain their mind. Certain trigger words or the spell casting that you spell cast upon yourself. Obtaining biophotons, life light, or information on whatever you're trying to expand and expound your consciousness on. That's all part of step 1. So retraining your subconscious mind consciously and unconsciously on information about your first eye or your mind's eye. I'm calling it the third eye because that's spell casting these thought forms upon your consciousness. And it makes you think that your pineal organ and pituitary gland isn't truly the first eye that you see with, because in all actuality it is. The pineal organ is the way that you perceive your whole reality. the way that you perceive other realities, in conjunction with all the chemicals and hormones that your first eye secretes. So the way that y'all are able to see me on this phone right now, the way that y'all are able to see y'all front door, y'all TV, the sky, whatever the case may be, is by way of receptors in your skin and all the different frequencies of light or information or binary code that is bouncing off of different things. And your mind's eye or your pineal organ helps you to perceive light or perceive information. And then it chemically decodes this binary code, these series of numbers, using the chemicals that your vehicle makes. And then your first eye creates pictographs of these binary codes that it's decoding so that you're able to perceive your reality. So if your avatar naturally does this on a day-to-day basis, why not start to train and nurture it? You are so powerful that you can sit in a meditative position or a lotus pose or whatever meditative position that you like. You can clear your mind and enter into the void. And then you literally can start to formulate anything that your mind can imagine. You can visualize it and then add your energy unto it. And then actually create it as an actual object or an actual thing. And then utilize it. So for example, let's say I wanted to make a telepathic connection with a tree or a bird or some type of animal. I will come out in Mother Ka, connect my energetic roots to the mycelium network that's all around me. My ethers and all. And I will visualize this tree or bird in intrinsic detail. The way it smells, how light it is, the color it is, the energy that it gives off. And I would imagine light around me. Any color. Color is important. I like to do a mix and plethora of different colors to help strengthen the connection. So I would imagine that auric field around me. Potent, refined, loving, warm. And I would then project that aura onto whatever I'm trying to make a connection with. And the best part is the more and more you send light, the more and more you receive light. So the connection that you're making will continuously strengthen. So as you make that connection in the spiritual realms, come back to this third dimensional realm and just see what happens. Watch how your ESP go off the charts.